One time.
Abilities.
Now, I want to bring Caitlin back into the conversation so I can get both of your perspectives on this issue of pot shops' closing times. You know, one of the arguments these shops are using is that they're being forced to close at 7 p.m. could be adding to the black market. Caitlin, do you think there's any legitimacy to that claim? So when I get off work late and I can't buy weed in Denver legally, am I calling my ex-dealer at that point and saying, hey, so is it contributing to the black market in your perspective?
From my perspective, I would say no. Only in so much that because there's surrounding communities that do allow pot shops to be open later, like you were saying earlier, obviously Glendale, Edgewater, Aurora, I mean, there are a lot of options, and more just keep becoming available. I mean, it's a valiant effort in an argument, but I think that there's people are going to get on their smartphones and see that there's other places that are open late, and maybe I'm naive and idealistic. But
well, let's hear what Josh thinks.
What
do you think it's a legitimate concern? And also, do you think that they should be allowed to stay open past 7 p.m. in Denver?
Yeah, with your first question, I mean, you know, it's about convenience. You know, if there's, you know, I think the black market is shrinking in Denver, and I think it's shrinking in Colorado, but it's a convenience question. If the person next door to you sells marijuana, and it's go to him or go to Aurora or Edgewater or drive out of the city, you probably go to the person next door. You know, so I do think that there's some legitimacy to it. And in terms of should the stores be open later, definitely. I think what we have right now is a system where folks like, I need to relax at night. And, you know, I missed the time for the pot shop to close, so I'm going to go to the liquor store. And that's like, there's just not parity there. You know, so I think what we're seeing is, you know, it's actually pushing people to drink as opposed to relaxing with marijuana, which we can talk all day about which one's better, or maybe it's, you know, different days of the week.
Well, the issue of convenience is an interesting one. I remember the first time I met Mason Tavert, who's a pot activist we've had on the show at a few months ago. And the first time we ever met, I asked him what he thought of this grave black market concern. You know, I think it was January of last year, so the sales had just started. And he asked me, he's like, all right, well, where do you live? And I was like, oh, I live on South Broadway. And he goes, all right, you need a bottle of wine, you know, for dinner. Where are you going? And I was like, probably the place that's 2 or 3 blocks away. And he goes, you're not going to go to Argonaut where it's cheaper? And I was like, no. And he goes, yeah, you're going to the place where it's convenient. And if I look back on my own personal experience with marijuana shops in the last 14 months, it is fascinating because I have developed the one next to work and the one close to home. And, you know, it is ultimately an issue of convenience. So.
And especially if you have to sneak in during your lunch break because you're not going to catch the hours outside of work.
Hey, it's not an uncommon happening. If after the lunch break, popping into Good Chemistry, it happens.